the Juice Podcast. Cody Mitchell here. The MAAC Conference Tournament preview here at the Metro Athletic. What is it again? I always fuck this one up. The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference Tournament preview. One of my favorites because of the regionality. And Northeast basketball is so back, and this conference is always fucking crazy. The tournament is rarely chalk, and there's always some wildness that goes on in this tournament. I fucking love every goddamn second of this tournament. It is played in, it is a neutral court. This is in Atlantic City, New Jersey, which just fits the criteria for like a perfect tournament. It's in Atlantic City. Shit gets crazy. Some of the smaller, the lower seeds in this would go a little bit farther than they probably should. It's just like anything like betting on this in the regular season. If you see a line that's like 6, you're like, holy crap, that's a giant line in the MAAC. So let's get into it. So yeah, this is in Atlantic City. All the games are on ESPN Plus. Championship game is on ESPN 2. So the Mount St. Mary's was the champion last year, and they were the 6th seed. Now, the last 5 champions in this tournament were the Mount was a 6 seed. The year before that was a 5 seed. The year before that was a 1 seed, which that was Rick Pitino's Iona team, so it's a little different. Before that, it was a 2 seed, and then the year before that, it was the 9-seeded Iona as well. So, I mean, there is a lot of parity in here, and there's a lot of drama and chaos that can ensue itself. And this is why, you can kind of see it just from the odds. There's really nobody that's completely off the rails, has no shot to win this. You're going from Fairfield to Sacred Heart isn't even really a big jump. So, this thing is really wide open, and you can find, some edges here. So, as far as the odds go, Mary Mac comes into the favorite. They were the regular season champions, plus 310. Siena, plus 330. Marist, plus 475. St. Peter's, plus 650. Quinnipiac, plus 650. Fairfield, 11-1. Mount St. Mary's, 15-1. Iona, 18-1. Sacred Heart, 50-1. And Manhattan, 160-1 to go dancing and win the MAAC tournament. So bracket, pretty simple. Nothing crazy. You got 2 first-round games, and then we go straight to the quarterfinals. I'm pretty sure it starts here in a few hours, actually. So that's why we're really got to get moving and get this one out here. So let's just start right off the rip. We have Iona in Sacred Heart. No, this is not the Rick Pitino-led Iona program that has been so successful in this tournament for so long. It's a different team, but they're still solid. Iona's probably got more money than just about everybody in this tournament, so they that's kind of why they canned Tobin Anderson after 2 years of just not making the tournament, not winning the MAAC tournament, not finishing in the top half of this league because of the amount of money they actually do spend on their basketball program, which, and then on the football team anyway, so it doesn't matter. Iona's basically just middle of the pack, offensively, defensively. Nothing blows you away. I thought they were a lot better to start the season, and then they kind of hit a little bit of a wall, but were able to kind of right the ship at the end. In the matchups against Sacred Heart, they did beat them the first matchup. They only got them once. Sorry, that was on the road. They got them by 12, but that was way back December 7th. So obviously a lot has changed since then. But still, I'm going to go with the Gales to advance to the quarterfinals. I think they're a better offensive and defensive team. And in the other game, the Fairfield Manhattan. If you're 160-1, I'm not a big fan of the Jaspers team. I think Gallagher is a good coach for Manhattan and could have the coaching edge here against Fairfield. But if you don't remember John Gallagher, he was the Hartford coach that got them to the tournament the year they announced that they were reclassifying to the Division III ranks. Guy can coach. It's just kind of a hard job. I like Fairfield. I like the Stags. I think they're just a little more fundamental. They play good defense. They take care of the basketball. They can shoot. It's not a lot to love about the Jaspers team. But again, there's only a 5-point spread tonight, so I don't really blame anybody. And I think that I own a Sacred Heart bet is only 2.5, or 2.5, but it opened at 2. I laid the 2 with the Gales already, but the other game, I'm not laying 5 points. Not laying 5.5 points in this league. This shit's too wild for me to be laying 5.5 points. So let's get to the semis here. In the semifinals, first matchup, MAAC and Sacred Heart. MAAC did win the league. They are also eligible for the NCAA tournament. If you don't remember, the year that Fairleigh Dickinson beat Purdue in the first round as a 16 seed, MAAC actually was the winner of the NEC tournament. They just weren't eligible to make the tournament. Now they're finally eligible. This team is fucking 17-3 in league. Joe Gallo is a certified stud of a coach. He was doing it back when they were in the Division II ranks. He is going to get a P5 job at some point. I don't know why Syracuse hasn't called him yet. If they get rid of Reed Autry, Boston College, if they get rid of Earl Grant, like somebody's got to make a call because Joe Gallo is a hell of a coach and he's just a winner wherever he goes. I think the Merrymen, which they really are the Warriors, they should be the Merrymen. Just a little too much firepower. I must have fucked that slide up. I think I had Iona winning that one. Well, so for the slide here, I do have Sacred Heart winning in this first matchup here, but I have Iona as my bet tonight. So, going to be right either way, unless Iona wins by 1. That could be the other side there. Yeah, either or, Sacred Heart or Iona. I still think MAAC is good enough to get the second round. Pretty simple here. Quinnipiac and Marist. I have the Marist Red Foxes advancing here, mostly just because Quinnipiac has just shit the bed about the last 5 seasons in this tournament. They've been one of the better teams in the league every single year, and then once this tournament comes around, they just underachieve and have not lived up to the standard in the tournament. So for the Bobcats team that's never made the NCAA tournament yet, I still think it's going to be another year of waiting because I do like the Red Foxes here to move on to the semifinals. St. Peter's and Fairfield. I have the Peacocks advancing here. This is not this 15 seed that's going to go to the Elite Eight or anything like that, but they are the best defensive team in this league. They're good enough offensively to keep them in games, and it's another team that does play a little bit slower, likes to muck it up a little bit. I like the Peacocks. I like this Peacocks team. They've beaten the better half of this. They've beaten pretty much all the good teams in this league so far, and they don't really lose to any of the bad ones outside of that one weird game at Ryder where literally Ryder just couldn't miss, and Ryder was one of the worst. I think probably bottom 10 of the 365, but on that night they were not. They were shooting like a top 50 team. I remember this because I bet on St. Peter's because Ryder was an auto fade at that point, but I do have the 2 seed Peacocks advancing here. For a tournament that's a little crazy, I'm pretty chalk. I'm actually pretty chalk. I have Siena. The St. Bernard's advancing to the next round. I think Gary McNamara has the Saints rolling here, and this is a guy that's, been through some of these wars as a player in these kind of tournaments, but also as a coach the last couple years here. And I just don't see St. Mary's going back-to-back in this spot. I like the Saints to advance to the semifinals. Now, in the semifinals, MAAC and Marist, I do have the Merrymen advancing to the finals. Still pretty chalky here, but, they're the best team in the league all season long. All season long, this team is the best team. What are they? Probably the best. They're the second best offense in this league, the second best defense in this league. And really, when you watch most of the games, they look like the best offense and they look like the best defense. Analytics might be a little skewed there, but I still think they're just a little bit better than everybody in this league. So I have MAAC advancing to the finals. On the other side, I have Jerry McNamara and the Saints with a date with the Merrymen for the title game. Now, these two teams did meet a couple times during the season here. MAAC beat them both times. The first one was in overtime, or the second one was in overtime at home, and then the other one was on the road. They got them by 4, but that was way back early January. I don't think they're getting them 3 times. I don't. I think Jerry McNamara and the Saints advance to the NCAA tournament and they win the MAAC. And Jerry McNamara rides off. Reed Autry. I know I wanted Gallo at Syracuse, but I know you never know what they're going to do. I think McNamara goes back to his alma mater at Syracuse and takes over for Reed Autry and gets Syracuse basketball back to where it's supposed to be. But for this tournament specifically, I have the Saints advancing on here and going dancing. Now, as far as my best bets, I found getting 3-1 basically, a little bit of extra on change on top of that. I'm taking Merrimack and I'm taking Siena because I think they're the 2 best teams and I think they meet in the finals. My long shots, Fairfield 11-1, Sacred Heart 50-1 if they can somehow, because I think they probably lose tonight, but it seems a little chalky for too much madness in this tournament, so I do think there is a shot they can win there. And a 50-1 value, I think it's good because after you beat Merrimack, it's kind of wide open because you have upset Marist before. You've played some of these tough teams, some of the tougher teams in this league, really tough, really hard, and push them to the limits even if you didn't beat them. So I think 50-1 is pretty good value on Sacred Heart as well. So that's going to wrap up the MAAC tournament. I'll be back later tonight with a few more here. Man, this is the best time of year. Shit's been crazy already, especially in the NEC. We had some crazy ones. Arch Madness starting tonight. The MAAC tips off later today, and it's just all madness basically the entire weekend. The OVC has their championship game on Saturday. It's going to be awesome. So I'll see you guys later tonight. I am out.